Today on the channel, we travel to the dark side with the DC Multiverse McFarlane Toys Deadman and John Constantine.
The spirit of the warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another DC Multiverse unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we've got the famed Deadman, and we've got John Constantine. But remember, for all your DC Multiverse needs and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up DJC Collectibles. Use discount code 8OFFDJC to save 8%. And remember, the dollars are in Canadian. It'd be a little cheaper for us Americans down here, of course, in the United States. But we got Deadman, we got John Constantine here, and the Deadman tells no tales, as Motorhead once said. As Deadman, very, very difficult to find for a little bit in my area, then finally, bam, he threw up all over town, and we got Deadman everywhere. But I gotta give a shout out to DJC Collectibles, sending me Deadman, and a lot of you guys and gals reached out to me on YouTube, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, saying, hey, do you need a Deadman? I can get you a Deadman. I got Deadman in my area. I appreciate the help, and definitely, we need the help out there from time to time in the old collector's game, and I always pride myself to be able to find everything in the store eventually, and I did get Deadman from DJC Collectibles, but I did find him in my local Target, so if you're looking for him, he could be in your Target, or of course, go to the DJC Collectibles. But of course, we're going to do this unboxing like we do all the other unboxings here on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging, we're going to talk about it, we're going to unbox it, we're going to talk about it, we're going to see where it goes from there. And this is our first edition of a page puncher being unboxed here on the channel, so not really sure what I'm getting myself into with this one. I guess we'll find out when we do it, but we're going to start with the Deadman first. The much anticipated Deadman unboxing here. And Deadman, character I don't really know a whole lot about. Basically, for as much as I know about Deadman is there was an animated movie. I think I watched it on HBO Max a year ago, 2 years ago. What is time? It was like the Dark Justice League, something like that. John Constantine was in it, but Deadman was in it as well. Apparently, he is an acrobat, a dead acrobat. So there you go. But there's old Deadman. Of course, got the gold label up there. You got the card, you got the stand, you got Deadman, DC Multiverse. All the usual suspects there on the packaging. From DC Rebirth, I guess he's kind of rebirthed in some kind of way. We got the Deadman on the side, and then on the back, he's wrapped up in some chains. Looking really good. It kind of reminds me, his outfit reminds me a little bit of Daredevil. Obviously, the head and stuff does not remind me of Daredevil, but the body does a little bit. Let's pull old Deadman out of the package. See you later, goodbye. I pulled the whole kit and caboodle out here. Oh, he's locked in. Look at that. We don't see that with McFarlane very often, that the backing is locked into the figure. I don't know what that's about. That's a little bit new. Let's get this Deadman card out of here. Let's get the stand out. Find out all about Deadman. See you later. Goodbye. See what Deadman has to say here. And I like it when the card and the stand come out together, that they're not separate. But apparently, they're together in this one. There it is. See you later. And see you later. Goodbye. And we got the stand. We've talked about those in the past. Looks like I'll have to cut Deadman out as well. We got the old DC Rebirth Deadman. Real name, Boston Brand. You don't hear of a lot of people named it Boston as their first name. Circus acrobat Boston Brand, traumatized by the anger and abuse he experienced as a child, was murdered and then given a new chance at life. As Deadman, he can inhabit the bodies of the living and is always driven to atone for the selfish ways he lived his life by bringing hope to the hopeless. So there you go, old Deadman. Telling all kinds of tales, apparently, is what this Deadman is doing. Very interesting character for sure. We're going to pull him out. Oh my gosh, there's twist ties everywhere. He's got all these effect pieces. I almost didn't see him there, as they do kind of blend in with the plastic a little bit. But very interesting. I don't think Deadman has ever had his own comic book. You guys correct me if I'm wrong there. I think he's always been somewhat of a supportive player. Once again, I'm not super familiar with the character there. See you later. Oh, twist ties everywhere. My poor vacuum. Poor vacuum. Gonna get the work out of a lifetime is what's gonna happen there. We got Deadman out of the package, and we got these effect pieces with him. Very, very cool. Always nice to get these effect pieces. I love this one here, is if you look really, really close, you got a human face here. It's like a soul leaving the body or going somewhere. So very, very cool there. with that, and then you got some of these other effect pieces here. So definitely some different effect pieces, nice and clear. You could technically use these with different characters, different figures if you really wanted to. I always do like stuff like this that you can get some reuse out of. Then you get the Deadman character here, and Deadman brings new life to popping your collar. As man, that is quite the traffic cone of a collar on him. I don't know in what universe this was fashionable, but apparently he liked to rock that huge collar here. Besides that, the body is all red, and like I said, there is a D down here, of course, for Deadman, not Daredevil. But it does look like a Daredevil-type body outside of the collar, outside of the head. It really honestly does. I love that he's got a fist of fury here, because the dead are always throwing fists at you, one way or the other. And then he's got an open hand, gripping hand, come hither hand, come take my hand into the nether realms of the Dark Justice League and the afterlife, I guess. Then you get to the head, very zombie-like. I mean, he looks like a zombie from a TV show, or he looks like a bald guy that was in the bathtub too long. He also kind of has that look to him, too. He got a little pruny in there. Got an interesting body shape there. You kind of see, I think that's bone from his rib cage down here. But very ugly, very gruesome on the old Deadman on the looks department. And then you get down to the body, it's just a red jumpsuit, a red apparatus there, a little darker red in the boots, a little lighter on everything else. But very cool looking, very dark, very evil, very menacing, very Deadman. Like a young Undertaker really is what he is. But we get the articulation here. You get a little bit of butterfly action in the shoulders. Arms go all the way around. Very tight bicep cut, side to side, double jointed elbows, hands back and forth, side to side, head side to side, a little bit limited by that big old dog collar he's got on there. It looks like one of those cones where the dogs get back from the vet almost. It's that big. He just got the hula hoop at the top. Little bit of side to side and waist articulation there as well. He can do those big old Deadman splits. At the end of the day, he is an acrobat, be it a dead one. He still should be doing these splits. Double jointed knees looking really good. And then you get the ankles back and forth, side to side. And then you got that patented McFarlane toe articulation. Not a bad one, and it's just kind of the thrill of the hunt is this Deadman, and very cool. And of course, figured out I was going to build out my Dark Justice League a little bit. I already have some other characters. That's why I said, you know what, I need Deadman to join up with that team. So that's what I did. So I'm very happy to have this in my collection. Got to give a huge shout out once again to DJC Collectibles, helping me out getting this Deadman in my collection. But there it is, the old Deadman looking really good, looking really dead. Now we turn our attention over to John Constantine, a bit of a more human-like character, and I'm not super familiar with him outside of I knew the name. I, of course, saw the animated movie I was talking about, and then didn't he used to have like a TV show or something? Maybe it was based on that. It was like a Constantine show. I think my wife watched it. I didn't got time for those kind of things, but I think my wife did watch that, if it's the same John Constantine, I don't know. But there it is the Page Punchers, and I did say this is the first go-around here, as I've seen a lot of these Page Punchers at Target and Walmart. Never really understood. The only thing putting my old business hat on is I think it's McFarlane Toys saying, hey, we have a different line. Obviously, the figures scale together, everything else, but it's technically a different line, so it gets them more shelf space. Because if this was in the packaging like Deadman, it would just be a continuation of that line. To put in new packaging and new SKU, you get more shelf space, more chances to sell your wares at retail. It's kind of like the Jazzwares, AEW Unmatched, AEW Unrivaled, same type figures, things like that, just different packaging, different SKUs, different pegs. I think that's probably what's going on here, but there is some differences with this one, as we will see when we dive in. Big window box on this one, DC logo, John Constantine, all kinds of stuff, and it does say Page Puncher, includes exclusive English comic book. Don't be a Spanish comic book, we want an English one. That's what it says right there, apparently. So they really want to call that out, apparently. DC Direct, McFarlane Toys, Page Punchers. You got a little action on the side, nothing too serious back there. But we do get a comic book with this one, which isn't a bad thing. And I remember as a kid, a lot of action figures did come with comic books when I was a kid. And I always did like that because it gave you a free comic book to read. But it gave you a little deeper understanding to maybe some other characters, maybe wanting those figures. A good selling opportunity at the end of the day. And I think more places should do that. I'd love to see that from Marvel Legends. There you go, off to the side. See you later. And then we get the old bag of comics here, just taking me back to the 80s and 90s when I went to the comic book shop all the time. Every Wednesday, my dad and I would be waiting for my dad to get home from work. Oh, Dad's going to be home any minute. And I'd say, Dad, let's go to the comic book store. It's new comic book day. And he'd be like, tired after a long day at work. He'd say, all right, well, let me change my clothes and let me go. And then we would go. We'd go to Toys R Us. We'd look for the starting lineups. We'd go get up the new comics. Oh, Wednesdays, all the rage back in the day. And I think new comic book day is now like Fridays maybe. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I bought a comic book. We do get the McFarlane stand, the DC stand here. Always nice to see these as well. Cut this out. There it is. Get the old stand. See you later. Didn't go anywhere. Then we got this card for John Constantine. Always love a good card as well. Very cool. They give you a lot of bang for your buck on this figure of John Constantine. You get the stand, you get the comic, of course you get the figure, the accessories, and then you get the comic book and the card. And can I get this card off without destroying it? See ya later. There it goes. Interesting one. John Constantine. You got Superman and Batman right up front and Black Adam in the back. John Constantine, real name? John Constantine. Wields the dark arts to save his soul as well as the earth itself. An expert sorcerer and magician, Constantine isn't known for his glowing personality, but when it comes to the occult, he's the best investigator there is. A notorious man with skeletons in his closet like a young anthrax. Constantine's moral compass is as gray as can be, but deep down, he wants to do the right thing. And I think we all do. I think at the end of the day, everybody wants to do the right thing. They want to do good. See you later. Goodbye. And then we get the comic book here, and an actual nice, thick comic book. I like what I'm seeing here. I like this a whole lot. I would absolutely love this as a kid. If I was a kid buying it, it's a little 2-for-1. Dad, buy me this action figure because it'll help my reading. That's what I would say. But I'm very cool. I think this is a great idea. Love to see a comic book with action figures. Kids, you gotta read. You gotta read. My daughter, Elle, a vivacious reader, reads a book a week probably at least at this point. Emma, not really a reader. Not really a reader. She's more of a YouTuber. More of a YouTuber. Watching YouTube. There you go. But there's old John Constantine, a little human. This one might not be bad for one of those guys in the crowd. Somebody hanging out in the crowd in your wrestling figures or your turtles set up or something like that. Gosh, he's got some tight twist ties on him too. I can't even get in to cut them. And we're gonna try. We're gonna try our hardest. We're gonna try to make it work. Can I get John Constantine out? But a very human-like character, which I like that every once in a while to have more human-like characters, because if everybody's a big gigantic superhero, if everybody's a big-time superhero, then what do you have? You just have superheroes, and then it's kind of all the same at that point. But boy, oh boy, is he stuck in there good. All right, we got all this. We got these twist ties. Got one on the arm still. My goodness. My goodness. Didn't know what I was getting myself into for these page punchers. And there it is. See you later. Off to the side. What a mess I'm creating here today. I got a big mess to clean up. Need to get an assistant just to clean up twist ties and stuff, really, at the end of the day. But all right, let's get down to old John Constantine. Let's see what he's got for accessories here. And we do got a book. Some may say it's the good book. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it is a book. And it's a blank book. So his book is still yet to be unwritten, apparently, here. But it is a occult-like book. You got kind of the occult, satanic little star going on the front of the book. But I guess he could pull that book up and read from his spells, do his thing, do whatever a John Constantine would do. Then you got an extra hand here, and it's very like a Doctor Strange type thing. But you got the old pentagram type thing. You got the big star, a little circle around it. He's conjuring up a spell, doing that kind of thing. Got to have things like that from time to time. Then we get old John Constantine here, and it's interesting. It's just like a human. It's like just a normal dude. This looks like a guy that just had a really tough day at the office. Like he was selling insurance at State Farm or something like that. And he had a long day. There was a tornado that came through town. He was doing a lot of claims adjusting, things like that. He said, oh man, I'm tired. Gets that tie down. Throws his coat on because it's a rainy day. Maybe he stops at the bar on the way home and gets himself a beer. Then he comes home with his wife and kids, throws his briefcase down on the table, and leave me alone. I'm going to the basement to watch the Celtics game. Maybe that's what he's doing. Who knows? I don't think so, but you never know. But John Constantine looking very interesting, just looking like a normal dude, really, at the end of the day is what he looks like. Got a nice tan coat going on, white dress shirt, black tie, very disheveled. Got holes in his knees. That's from climbing on roofs. Check tornado damage is my guess. Very interesting here. Got the blue jean type look going on. Got a belt buckle. Articulation-wise, arm's going to go all the way around. Bicep cut. Double-jointed elbows. Of course, we got the pins here. It is McFarlane after all. Got a lot of hand movement here. Hands look a little weird because the peg is tan. And the hand just feels like it's kind of floating there. Very interesting. Got the hula hoop on him. You do got a waist. Do those big old John Constantine splits if he needs to climb down a ladder or something, doing his claims adjusting. He also has knees, double jointed knees, very, very tight knees. Got the toe articulation, ankles back and forth, side to side. And then, of course, head articulation, back and forth, side to side, up and down. Very striking blonde hair on him. A lot of waves, a lot of spikes going on there. A little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow down there in the beard. But just kind of a plain Jane little dude here. But boy, does he do the arts. He does some sorcery, and that's where he really steps up and helps the old team out And of course, he fits on a DC McFarlane stand, so we're here for that at the end of the day. But will he stand on the stand? There we go. We get him next to Deadman. We're getting the team back together. I mean, there's so many people you could put. I think Dr. Fate was a member of this team. Man-Bat was a member of the team. Got the Demon right here. One of the greatest peg warmers in the McFarlane history. I think I got him for like $4 in Entertainment Earth back in the day. Of course, you got one of the all-time greats. My boy Swamp Thing. Absolutely love Swamp Thing. I believe this is the GameStop exclusive. And like I said, you could add Man-Bat to this. You could add Dr. Fate. There's a lot of different characters you could put with this Dark Justice League if you really, really wanted to. But John Constantine is pretty much a staple there, and Deadman had to have him. Had to have Deadman as part of the group for sure. But an interesting lineup here. Those page punchers are a lot better than I expected. I just wish some of the characters they had in those sets were characters I really wanted. As there's not a lot of figures I'm liking that I've seen in those sets. But the Constantine's pretty cool with the card, the comic, the stand, the accessories, the figure. Looks pretty good. I gotta have to keep a little closer eye on those page punchers going forward. And then, of course, Deadman. What can you say? Deadman tells no tales, like Lemmy used to tell us back in the day. But what say you? What say you about Deadman? What say you about John Constantine? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. You might as well like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. Check out the Patreon channel. Link in the description below. Your best way to support this channel and all the content. Early access to videos like this. Bonus content, exclusive content, you name it. A lot going on over at the old Patreon channel. You can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget about social media. SirPaul64 on Twitter. Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for the darkest of the Dark Justice League, I am Kyle, and I'll see you guys all real soon.